What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Blazers Uprise live here on Boxing Day. It's the day after Christmas. We got the Blazers back in action tonight before they take 3 days off following this game tonight against the Charlotte Hornets. We'll preview that. We'll talk Gary Payton II. But first, Eric, how was your Christmas, man?
Very interesting. Before I get into that, let's get into your Christmas. How was yours?
Mine was good. Yeah, just relaxing and ate too much bad food and good food, and I'm in a food coma still, and yeah, just still kind of like recovering from all of that.
Nice. Yeah, so I have several things to talk about from my Christmas. One is, like to just put this out here. Love got my jersey, but I have to apologize to Anthony Simons. It's been nice knowing you on the Blazers. Yeah, so if you know, you know. But yeah, so that's tough. But no, I definitely wanted this jersey, love it, and all that stuff, but haven't had the best luck with players sticking around once I get a jersey from someone. But yeah. My wife got COVID right before Christmas, and so she's been, quarantining since late last week. And so, yeah, it kind of ruined all our Christmas plans and all that, at least with family and stuff. And we haven't really gotten to spend any time with her over the holidays, which sucked. And then we had the ice storm. And I almost died in a car accident. And
what? We might have to get into more of this later because it sounds like you got a whole lot. How'd you almost? Oh man.
If you want to do the promo first, you can.
Yeah. Let's just. Well, we need to hurry up and do picks against the spread. Yeah. But I want to hear about how you almost died because that's not good. Anyway, let's just jump into things here, and then I want to know how your Christmases were too, chat. So I'll love to read those off in a second. But first, we got picks against the spread. 7 games for today, the day after Christmas. Here are the standings. Once again, picks against the spread is presented by Bet Online. All the spreads that you see in this segment are brought to you via Bet Online. You can get in on any of the action. Maybe you got a little extra dough for Christmas. I don't know, but if you want to have some fun and get into some NBA action, check out our friends over on Bet Online. They got live betting, parlays, all that fun stuff for you guys to enjoy. If you like any of these spreads, definitely consider Bet Online if you want to get in on the action. Eric, on last Thursday?
Yeah. Only 2 games.
0-3. 0-3. He lost the double down and then lost both games.
This is why gambling sucks sometimes. So the Pelicans were favored by 8.5. They won by 9. The Jazz were favored by 7. They won by 8. So I was 1.5 away from being 3-0, and Jackson would have been 0-3, and I would have increased my lead.
You would have been up 8 games instead of 2.
Yeah. So that's how razor thin some of these are. I feel like when it's that close, it's just a matter of luck versus like anyone knowing what they're talking about at that point. It's not like either of those were games that were definitely one-sided or whatever. So, yeah, just kind of frustrating, but it was only 2 games, so who cares?
And we needed you to finally have some bad luck because you've had, maybe it's skill, maybe it's luck, I don't know. But 0-3. On Thursday, it was a skill issue. I'm just kidding. That's an inside joke. Shout out to anybody who gets that joke. 0-3 on Thursday. So Jackson gained 3 games. I gained a game despite going 1 or 2. I'm only 6 games back, so I'm right there. Connor is right there with me. Aeromancer went 3-0, so he gained 3 games. He's less than 20 games under, so if he can pick it up, he has a chance.
And congrats to Jackson for being 500 now, and all you guys inching closer to 500.
Yeah, we got to get there so we can look more respectable. Anyway, let's jump into game number 1. We got the Cleveland Cavaliers hosting the Brooklyn Nets. Cleveland is a 2.5-point home favorite.
Gotta say what's up to Carson. Do you like my new jersey? He hates stuck on PDX jerseys, so.
Oh, man. I thought Carson would love the PDX jerseys. I'm surprised by that.
Yeah, I don't know. He's leading the PDX cursed bandwagon.
Gotcha.
Stupid joke thing.
Yeah. By the way, my computer might lag in and out here. My computer was having a bunch of troubles getting these graphics together. That's why we were live a little bit later. So if it's, if there's a hiccup or whatever, don't worry about it. My computer just isn't cooperating with me. Computer, you need to chill out. All right? There, I scolded my computer. Eric, what are the injuries?
All right, so for the Nets, they're without Joe Harris and Seth Curry. The Cavaliers are without Dean Wade, Dylan Windler, Ricky Rubio, and Robin Lopez.
Okay, there's the chat poll. Let's see if we can get through these 7 games in 10 minutes.
I have Arrowmancer's picks. I don't have anyone else's.
All right. It's going to be impossible to do them in 10 minutes. So.
Arrowmancer's taking Cleveland. Brooklyn's been playing really well lately, so I'm going to take them in this one. Jackson is taking the Nets as well.
I'm taking Cleveland.
Okay.
It's a good game. Starting us off.
I got Anthony. Oh, Robbie got a jersey too. He got a Dame one. Nice.
I got Blazer tickets gifted to me from a Trailblazer. I'm not going to say who, but...
Nice.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So,
Thanks for saying that, Max. Everything's fine. It's just a very weird Christmas compared to normal. We have a lot of family traditions and stuff that we weren't able to do. So.
Yep. Zach goes Cavs. Waiting on Trevin and Connor. Have we seen... Okay, we've seen Connor. Connor's in here. That's good. Have we seen Trevin? Trevin's always here. Trevin has never not been here. Has he?
Yeah, we've actually had to message him. He usually comes within a few minutes of messaging him.
Oh, there he is, Cavs. Okay. See, there it is. And then, I don't know, Connor, make your pick. Chat is 50-50. Oh, my goodness, we gotta wait. Yeah, we ain't doing this in 10 minutes. All right, 51% Cavs. Chat was super divided, which is always cool to see. Eric and Jackson with the Nets. Everybody else going Cavs so far. And then we're waiting on Connor.
His name is Trevin, not Trevor.
Anyway, Connor, just make your pick. We're going to jump into game number 2. We got Detroit hosting the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers are 5.5-point road favorites.
So the Clippers are without Kawhi Leonard and Jason Preston. The Pistons are, of course, without Cade Cunningham. And Marvin Bagley, Isaiah Livers also missing this game.
Connor probably got a work call or something, so... Clippers for Trevin. I'll do the red Detroit logo just so we can tell them apart. I need to make a red Detroit graphic for the top of it. This sucked, dude. There was like 3 teams today that had like matching colors. Because we got Pelicans in Utah later. And I always try and like differentiate them, and it's just extra work. Clips for Jackson and Trevin.
Connor did say he's on a call. He'll be right back, so we'll just skip him for now.
I'm going Clippers as well.
All right, Arrowmancer and myself are on the Pistons.
All right.
And Zach is joining us on the Pistons. Which just leaves chat. And, of course, Connor.
Yeah, chat's 73% Clippers. Alright, and then Connor will get his picks in. Game number 3. We got the Miami Heat hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves. And the Timberwolves are 1-point home favorites. Road favorites. 1-point road favorites.
So the Timberwolves, of course, without Karl Anthony Towns. They're also without Kyle Anderson, Taurean Prince, and Jordan McLaughlin. The Heat are without Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, Dwayne Dedmon, Omer Yurtseven.
Jeez.
And let me see if they updated the guy who was questionable yet. They should have, because the game is about to start. Oh, nope. I mean, Udonis Haslam's questionable. Doesn't really matter, I guess.
Is that you? Is that who you were looking
I mean, he like started the other day, I think.
So. And that's just funny.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd rather have him or you starting at center at this point. That dude is... Well, he's still younger than you. Never mind.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. It's close, but...
He seems older than you, though. That's a compliment.
Trevin and Aeromancer are on the Timberwolves. Jackson's going to go with the Heat.
All right.
Zach is going Heat.
So, Zach and Jackson went Heat.
Yep.
And then, who went Timberwolves?
Aeromancer, Trevin, and I'm going to go Timberwolves as well.
Aeromancer, Trevin, Eric, and Torrance going Timberwolves. Chat is divided. Chat can't make up their minds today. They're gonna go with the... I feel like they're probably gonna go with the Timberwolves since we both picked them. No, they go Heat. Good job, chat. We don't rule you. Anyway. Wait, the wrong logo. Might be a split vote. We'll see when Connor rolls his picks in. Connor, you can just send him... You want him to just send them through the Discord thread or through the chat?
It doesn't matter. Yeah, whatever's easier.
Okay. Cool. Game number 4, we got the Chicago Bulls hosting the Houston Rockets. And the Bulls are 7-point home favorites.
So the Rockets are just without Jayshawn Tate for this one. The Bulls are without Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, Derek Jones Jr., and let's see if Javonte Green, he was a game-time decision. Still says questionable for Javonte Green.
I'm gonna take the Rockets in the points.
Oh, just so anyone knows, Udonis Haslam is available to play, so...
Nice. Jackson Trevin, Rockets.
I don't know why this is not updating.
What Aeromancer go with?
Aeromancer is going with... Good question. I didn't write that down for this game for some reason. He is going with the Houston Rockets. I'm going to go with the Rockets as well.
All right. Lots of white on the screen for Rockets. That goes the Bulls. This wouldn't be a bad island. Chat goes Bulls as well, so they ruin your island. Or you ruin their island, I don't know which one. And then Connor, we will get at some point in the future. All right, game 5 of 7. We got the Jazz hosting the Spurs. Why did I say the Jazz are playing the Pelicans? No, the Pacers are playing the Pelicans.
Yeah.
Which are also equal colors with my graphics. Anyway, the Spurs are hosting the Jazz. The Jazz are 4.5-point road favorites.
The Jazz are without Kelly Olynyk, and the Spurs have no one listed on their injury report. It's like the cleanest game in years.
I know, I'm still typing. My goodness. Alright, there's your chat pool chat. YouTube needs to fix the viewer count glitch. It'll be like 60, and then 3 seconds later it'll be 40, then 3 seconds later it'll be 60 again. It drives me crazy. Spurs for Zach, Spurs for Jackson. I'm going to go with the Utah Jazz. Actually, do I want to go with the Jazz? Let me think about it. Hold on. Sorry. I pump faked you.
Psych.
That's the problem is, honestly, like, I barely think about these games because I'm all plugging in the poll and the logos and reading chat.
Aeromancer's on Spurs. Trevin's Jazz. I'm going to go with the Jazz as well.
Okay, let me... see a 123 for the Spurs. I'm going to go with the Spurs. I don't know what the 123 means, but that's the number I saw. So, I saw a Spurs logo and I saw a 123. I just meditated on it. Chat is going with the Utah Jazz. We could have a pattern depending on what Connor goes with. Game number 6, you got the Pelicans hosting the Indiana Pacers. The Pelicans are 1.5-point home favorites.
So the reason this spread came down so much was because the Pelicans are without Brandon Ingram, Herb Jones, Zion Williamson, Trey Murphy, and Dyson Daniels. And the Pacers are without just Daniel Tice. I'm going to take the Pacers in this one. Aeromancer is taking Pelicans.
I'm taking the Pacers as well.
Jackson is too.
Pelicans for Zach.
JT says tickets for Blazers tonight are so expensive it has to be because of Dame's scoring record, right? Yeah, they're doing a celebration after the game for it, so it's almost certainly due to that. And also, you know, a lot of people have this week off from school or work or things, so
yep.
A lot more people are available to go or home from school or holidays or something.
And if you don't want to spend your money on that, you should spend your money on this. Link in description.
Joey, it's Anthony Simons.
Shameless plug. I plugged our watch party and it started crashing my stream. In-person watch party, January 2nd, as we wait for Trevin went Pelicans. Okay, cool. And then chat is going with the Pacers. In-person watch party with us. If you want to meet us and hang out with us and watch a Blazer game, should be fun, should be pretty chill. It's the Pistons, so they should take care of business. We'll see. Pacers for chat. And, yeah, Connor can make that split vote because Connor is still not here. Portland hosting the Charlotte Hornets. Portland is 5.5-point home favorites.
All right. So, we'll, of course, talk about this in a minute. But Nasir Little, Justice Winslow, Gary Payton II all out for the Blazers. Probable are Yusuf Nurkic and Josh Hart. The Hornets are without Cody Martin for sure. Nick Richards is doubtful. Dennis Smith Jr. questionable. You're muted.
Oh, I just said it. I think it's time for Connor to cuss out his customer and get him to hang up. Blazers for Trevin, Blazers for Jackson, Blazers for me.
I'm going to go Blazers as well.
What was Aeromancer?
Aeromancer's Blazers.
What is Zach?
I think he's picking the Blazers, but
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. Zach, what's your pick?
Did he say Hornets? Next game I'm going Hornets double down. I gotta go by guys. Okay.
All right.
I didn't see
I
that.
missed that one too.
All right. He was so early, he was late. And the Blazers are chat's pick, and I think they might be the double down too, because that's a wild percentage. Anyway, time for double downs. Connor, you better not look at any of these scores, you freaking cheater. There's only 2 games that I've tipped off as of like 7 minutes ago, but we haven't looked at the scores. So, we're not cheating.
Chat's double down, I think, is the Blazers. 82%. Yep.
My double down is going to be the Clippers.
Jackson's is the Pacers. And Connor is starting to trickle in his picks.
All right.
Let me know when you want them.
Yeah, hit me with them.
He's taking the Nets in the first game.
Okay.
Clippers.
Split vote, or no, not split vote. 3 versus 5.
Clip,
what was the next one?
Clippers in game 2.
Clippers. Another 3 versus 5. All right, game 3.
He's taking the Heat.
Split vote. Love it. Okay, game 4.
Rockets.
All right, that's a 6v2. Let me get the Rockets. That's the Bulls. That's the Rockets. Game 5.
Spurs.
Oh, he messed up the pattern. Tough scenes. Game 6.
Game 6 is not... He doesn't have it yet. I only have 5 so far.
All right, we'll go back to double downs. Who's the next double down?
Let's see who you do not have.
I got myself, Jackson, and chat.
I
need yours.
Zach was Hornets.
Okay. Oh yeah, Zach was.
Trevin's doubling down on the Timberwolves. It's 2.
What's your double down?
I am gonna go with the Rockets.
have his other picks? Or?
Yep, Pelicans.
Okay. Pelicans, so that makes this a split vote. Cool. And then for the last game.
Hornets.
Oh, wow. No island for Zach. He tried. And then double down for Aeromancer and Connor, and we're good.
I missed. Who did? What am I missing? Who did Trevin take in the Pacers Pelicans game?
Pelicans.
Okay.
Where are these double?
So split vote there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Connor, what's your double down?
Connor's double down is the Pelicans. Him and Aeromancer did not look at the injury report.
Aeromancer went Pelicans too?
Yes.
Alright. So those two are the Pelicans. Everybody else is going with something different. That concludes picks against the spread. Good luck to everyone. Sorry it was slightly late. But we never look at the scores anyway if these games tip off and 2 is tipped off. You'll see the scores down below once they pop up. But, anyway. So, Eric, I need to know how you almost died. That's where I'm at. That's what I'm wondering. I was waiting until you unmuted yourself so that I could ask you. So you said you almost died at the start of this post-game show, which would have been really bad because then, maybe some people would have secretly been excited to try and take your job here at Blazers Uprise. But that sounds scary. What happened?
Oh, well, we had the ice storm Friday. Closed down the store on Friday. Saturday, I had to go into work because my Christmas is basically we have a tradition of doing Christmas Eve at my mom's house, and then Christmas morning at home with the kids and stuff, and then I have to head to work to basically switch over the store from Christmas to New Year's because it's a really important week and we don't have room to set both up at the same time. So I spent a lot of my Christmas there, but I had to get a lot of stuff done on Christmas Eve. And so I decided to try to go into the store. The roads were seemingly fine, especially the highway. Traffic was moving at a pretty normal pace and the road seemed clear. But on the highway by my house, there's these ruts in the road that when there's a lot of rain or in this case flooded ice, melted ice, you get kind of stuck in them and your car kind of shifts. And it was still in the morning, so the ice was all around the path that had been created on the highway. And so I'm going and everything's normal. And all of a sudden, in a split second, I went from going this way to a 90-degree straight towards the middle of the highway. And my car started spinning out of control. I couldn't control it at all. Just at that point, I was up to whatever was going to happen, and there was nothing I could do about it. And so I was spinning towards the middle, and I felt like it was about to flip over, and I just happened to hit the guardrail as it spun almost flat against it instead of at an angle. Otherwise, I would have, the way the guardrail's set up, it's kind of in a ditch, so I would have gone right over the top of it and flipped if I didn't hit at this exact angle I hit it at. So instead of hitting it and the airbags and flipping over and all that stuff, it just happened to turn and slide against the guardrail. So I went probably 40-50 feet sliding down the guardrail until my car came to a stop. Get out, everything's fine other than aesthetically, there's some damage to the car, the side of the car, but like it still ran normally. I could still drive it. None of the wheel wells were messed up or anything. Was able to pull off to the side of the road and pick up all like the trim that had gotten knocked off and all this stuff. And just like thank my lucky stars that I just happened to spin at the right angle to hit the guardrail at like if you would have seen the accident happen, like you would have thought there was no way that A, there was nothing happened to me, and B, like very minimal damage to the car. So like I have no idea how it came to be that way, but like best case scenario happened, and yeah, I got really lucky.
Yeah, well, that's a big man like you flipping in a car is no bueno.
Yeah,
that's not good. Yeah, that would have been bad. So I'm glad it wasn't worse, man. I'm glad you can still drive the thing too.
Right.
That's pretty lucky.
Yeah, I was able to go to work, and it just happened to be like there was like a stream of traffic, but like at the time it happened, there were no cars around me, so I didn't hit anyone else. Yeah, so pretty lucky.
Yeah, the ice storm sucked. The timing was terrible. I know some people weren't able to go home for the holidays. Bri was in here saying he was supposed to be in Portland on Thursday, and his flight got canceled 3 times, and now he's coming on Wednesday. Like, travel's been tough on people, so yeah, I hate ice storms and the whole polar vortex hitting this entire freaking country at the worst time possible. Like, it's basically freezing everywhere. I think it's a little bit better now, but it was just definitely not good timing with the holidays and everything. But driving on that stuff is always nerve-wracking, man. I was trying to just get out of the house on Friday, I think, was the day it was the worst. And, dude, I couldn't even scrape the ice off my windshield. It was so thick and so, or just hard. Like, tried mixing some rubbing alcohol with some water. Like, you don't want to get that on your paint, but like 2/3 rubbing alcohol, 1/3 water in a mix, and then putting it on ice on your windshield, it's actually kind of cool. Like, makes a, you ever have Pop Rocks, it makes that sort of sound. And I tried doing that, and it cleared up some of the ice, and I still couldn't scrape it off, so I just gave up. But probably a good decision not to drive in that type of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, ice isn't to mess with. Like, I gotten somewhat okay in driving in the snow, but yeah, ice is a different story. Like I said, there was a point where I couldn't do anything about what was happening. No matter what I did. So
Sam Dooley can be your life insurance hookup.
Yeah,
for the next time that happens. Which hopefully that doesn't happen again. But Sam Dooley plug on life insurance. That's funny.
I gotta grind, man.
Yeah, I respect it. So, speaking of the weather and stuff, the Blazers are only going to have 2 refs tonight because one of their refs couldn't get into town.
I thought for some reason there was always like a 4th ref in the stands in case something like that happened. But
I thought so too. Yeah. But, there's only going to be 2 refs tonight. Honestly, I don't even care because 3 ref crews have been terrible for Portland lately. So 2 refs actually might do a better job, in my opinion. Maybe you can get away with more physicality or whatnot, but I don't care, man. We've been screwed lately, I think, by referee crews. I haven't been happy with the way games have been reffed lately, and that's with 3 refs. So if there's only 2, well, they're gonna have to run a little harder.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm not, not tripping about that.
They should give each team like 2 extra challenges or something.
Well, just let us keep our challenge, but that's a whole nother debate. But yeah, man, glad you're okay. Glad to be back in the swing of things.
Yeah.
I needed a break from streaming for a couple days because this a section of the fan base has been driving me crazy lately, Eric. And if you guys have watched our post-game shows, you would know that that's the case. Because we've been talking about people's takes and other fans more so than we have all season long, because lately it feels like everything's gone off the rails in terms of the way half this fan base, it seems, looks at the team in regards to some of the wild opinions about Ant that make no sense, the Nurk stuff, and it was getting to me. It was frustrating, so I needed a couple days off because When stuff goes off the rails with like parts of this fan base, it actually makes it harder for me to just enjoy the team, enjoy the game, and I feel like too many people they lose. I don't know how to explain it. It's like, I don't know, man. Do you think people that are saying all this blasphemous stuff about how Ant sucks and Nurk sucks and all this negative stuff, it doesn't seem like they're enjoying the team. And I wanted a couple days off, and it's going to be nice with 3 days off between this game tonight and the game on Friday against the Warriors. It's going to be nice to have a few more days off because I want to be able to enjoy the team. And yeah, they've been struggling lately, but it's more so than that. It's just some of the stuff that's said from this fan base has kind of taken away from my own enjoyment of the team, and then it makes it harder to stream and talk about them. So I think it'll be nice for myself and for other people too. Some of the people out there, I don't know if you've seen the Blazers Facebook group, the fan group. I was on there the other day, and it was just some of the most ridiculous stuff I've ever seen. Nice to take a few days off and kind of refresh and try and like ground myself back in what makes me enjoy covering this team and watching this team in the first place, regardless of if they're winning or losing.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like, I know we lost last 3, but the game before this 3-game losing streak, wasn't that the game where Dame and Ant both had 30 points?
Yeah.
And we were talking about how awesome it is to have this backcourt and all this stuff. Yeah, there's 2 things for me that bother me. One is this idea that Anthony can't improve at all. I mean, he's like 23. He's been starting for, a year now at the most, and he didn't even really play after January last year, so does that really count? So, like, with Dame, it's only been, 30-some games, 35 games? Or 33 games, however many it's been. So, like, they're still growing, and there's still a lot of room for them to adapt and get better. But the thing that bugs me the most is 4 years, all we heard about was can't win with a small backcourt, right? Can't play defense with a small backcourt. And that was just the narrative. And that was all, like, Blazer media, that's all their analysis was, right? It was never, why can't it work? Like, getting into specifics of the defense. It wasn't ever breaking down the defense or what was happening on defense. It was just immediately, Stotts has Olshey gave him a small backcourt with Dame and CJ. There's nothing he can do about the defense, right? And you heard that excuse for years and years and years and years, and it never got any deeper than that. It was just became common knowledge to half the fan base that narrative was true, that there's nothing you can do when you have a small backcourt and you can't play defense. And so the minute they start playing bad again, of course, all the same people who just ate that up, all the same media who that's their deepest analysis they can make because they don't understand the game, just immediately revert back to that, saying, it's because of the small backcourt. Their defensive problems have nothing to do with their small backcourt this year, and that drives me crazy. And you put Hart at shooting guard. We had games with Dame out. We had games with Ant out. Hart was playing shooting guard in a lot of those games. It wasn't any better on defense. Like, it's not as simple as just moving bigger players. Let's move Jeremy Grant to the 3 and bring in someone at the 4 and all this stuff. So, like, it just drives me crazy because, like, most of the people who are saying that Ant is the problem are people who don't really know how to analyze a game or break it down, which is fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that level of fandom, but don't try to tell people who do that, this is the problem. It's because Ant's too small to play shooting guard. Like, that's not even the case at all. And there's nothing saying that Ant can't improve on defense either.
Yeah, I mean, last game there was people blaming Ant for some of our defense, and if you looked or luxury tax, my guy JJ looked at the second half, and he was going to war with on Twitter over it. But the second half, from the 9-minute mark in the third quarter to the end of the game, he said there was not one single play where we gave up a bucket because of Anthony Simons.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I knew, Eric, I can't remember when I predicted this, but in the past, I made the prediction that everything that was said about CJ McCollum in the future is going to be said about Anthony Simons.
Yeah.
They are going to shift everything they said about CJ McCollum and put it directly on Anthony Simons. They're going to give Simons the CJ treatment at some point. And people said, no, CJ's better. He doesn't pound the ball as much. He's, a little taller. People tried to tell me that, no, I wasn't going to be the same thing. And it's just, in the last week, you've seen the same people that absolutely hated on CJ give that same treatment to Anthony Simons. It just sucks, man, because I don't think it's fair. And I defended CJ, but I think Ant is Ant's a better defensive player and plays within the flow of the offense better. And he's only 23, hasn't even started for a full year, but I had somebody telling me on Twitter the other day that Ant is running out of time to prove that he can start next to Dame or something like that. And it's like, dude, this dude has started next to Dame for 33 games. We had CJ McCollum start next to Dame for 7 or 8 years. What do you mean Simons is running out of time to prove that he can start next to Dame? It's just stuff like that that drives me crazy, man. And it's stuff like that I don't know. I hope that fans kind of wake up, but I knew that Ant was going to get the similar treatment. Mm-hmm. And yeah, he's getting the CJ treatment. It sucks, man, because he doesn't deserve it. CJ didn't deserve that treatment, but Ant deserves it even less. He's having as good of a season as CJ ever had for us, and that's with some shooting slumps. It's just frustrating to me that people can't handle a shooting slump and they have to go off the rails. So it'll be nice for those people to have some time off from the team. Only one game in 6 days or something like that, and it's obviously tonight. If the Blazers can take care of business, kind of calm things down, we're fine. But dude, if you told me we were gonna miss Dame for 10 to 12 games, and we have this hard schedule, and we were gonna be 1 game back of the 4th seed on December 26th, I'd have been like, oh, that's awesome. This team's working. If you told me that at the start of the season, but then also told me, yeah, people are going to be quitting on Ant, giving him the CJ treatment, and talking about how this team is broken, how this is the same old story, I would have said that makes no sense. The Blazers are literally, they're 1.5 games out of 4th right now. 1.5 games out of 4th. They're literally in the thick of things. I mean, you look at any team and they have struggles and they have successes. I just don't understand why fans are making it out like this is the same exact team when it's not. How Ant is CJ when he's not. It's just like, I don't... People are married to certain narratives, and it's like they want to just apply that to this team even though it is different. It's still struggling defensively, but in the last 10 games, when we're completely having this meltdown, in the last 10 games, I think this was before the Nuggets games, but we were the 17th ranked defense with Dame and Ant. So the defense has shown signs of life, has shown signs that they can be better. We lost close games lately. Both games to the Thunder were 1-possession losses. The first loss against Denver was a 1-possession loss. We take care of business in those close games, and you're talking about how good the team's playing. That's what drives me crazy, is like people's whole narrative is either like, oh, this team is really good, or this team is really bad, and there's no in between, and it's all dramatic. And whether the team's really good or really bad hinges on 1 or 2 possessions in 1 or 2 games. And it's just so completely wild to me. So, I'm, looking forward to kind of hopefully getting away from just the dramatic stuff, man, because honestly, that stuff frustrates me as a fan, and it makes it harder to enjoy the team, to be frank.
Well, and then I look at with Anthony, it's like the difference between his 3rd year and now, like a year and a half later, is pretty remarkable. He's improved a lot in a lot of areas. I mean, the analytics still show he's a negative defender, but I think he's made a lot of strides on that end. So like I said, nothing's stopping him from, developing further on that end. And the whole thing is, I mean, Dame was 22 when he started his rookie year. CJ, after sitting out his first 2 seasons, basically, when he became the starter was 23. But those guys had like a lot more experience both in college and stuff like that to go off of as well. So like that's basically saying that like Dame and CJ couldn't have done what they did because they had peaked at Anthony's age or whatever. So I just think that's silly. And I know in today's game, a lot has changed in terms of players coming in. You know, you see like Luka and Paulo Banchero and stuff dominating at 19, 20 years old. And it's a case where, oh, if you're not dominating right away, you suck or whatever. And yeah, so I just I feel like, I don't know. It's weird because like he had a bad shooting game. Like he hasn't shot well or played particularly well the last few games. But that doesn't erase like who he is as a player or mean that he has to go or that's the problem necessarily. I just wish people would explain their position a little better if they knew how to do so.
I don't know how these people are with other things or adversity in their life, but just things are never as dramatic as they usually seem, man. I mean, it doesn't have to be all good or all bad or awful or great. And that's like an American thing, is everything's either the best or the worst. And there's middle ground. Like, people just need to relax. Stop completely bashing our players. Stop coming up with just ridiculous things like Ant is running out of time to prove that he can start when he hasn't even started for a year. And he's been as good as CJ was this season. So, yeah, you know, we're pretty outspoken on stuff that we see that's wrong, but it's usually based in logic. I think people need to calm down with the over-emotional stuff. And it'll be nice to have, you know, some off days, and it'll be good for the team as well. So this game tonight, and we'll preview this over the next 10 minutes before we sign off, and then Warriors on Friday, and then the follow-up game is on Monday. So, and that'll be our watch party, which you can get tickets to. Link in the description box below.
Here's the other thing, Tori. If we had either Gary Payton in a lot of these close games, that probably results in a win or two at least, right? This year so far. If we had a competent bench, that probably results in at least another win or two as well, right? So we're probably talking about, you know, being somewhere, you know, 19-16 or
well, we're 17, 16, 19 so like 19 and 14,
yeah, or 20 and 15,
which would put us in fourth,
right? Yeah, so
like that's how close things are. The margins are so tight. Everything's in the middle. It's not drastic.
So my problem is a lot of these people who are saying these drastic things about the backcourt and, you know, they're a lot of the same people who have given Cronin a pass when it comes to rebuilding because he was doing things differently, right? You heard that from a lot of these same people all offseason. Oh, it's so nice to have someone doing something different, trying something new. And now we have these struggles, and now those same exact people who were saying Cronin was doing something new are saying, oh, we should have known that this wouldn't work like this way. Like, it's the same thing we've seen for 8 years, right? And it makes no sense. Like, it's just, there's no like nuance to their discussion. And have you seen a single one of those people talk about how Cronin is the one who re-signed Anthony instead of moving him for someone different? Cronin's the one who re-signed Nurk, the center they all hate. Cronin is the one who has not so far gotten us a decent bench. He brought in Justice Winslow. He brought in, you know, Gary Payton, who hasn't played yet. How come he's not getting questioned about that decision? Why is he not getting questioned about Winslow, you know? Like, this is all guys that he brought in for his bench. And so at what point do you realize if we had a better bench, we would be totally fine right now? We'd be up in the fighting for, you know, home court advantage in the first round. And I've seen nothing from any of those people criticizing the GM when all those people just would pile on the
Yeah.
previous GM if this was the case.
Well, you know who gets blamed for the bench being bad that I've seen?
Neil Wilshire.
Anthony Simons.
Anthony Simons.
He's not a point guard. He can't play make for these guys. Look how bad the bench unit looks with him in. And it's like, dude, he has 3 guys around him that can't shoot threes. What is he supposed to do in terms of creating for Drew Eubanks, Trendon Watford, and Justice Winslow? None of those 3 guys you trust outside of 3 to 4 feet away from the rim. Justice Winslow, you don't trust him even at the rim, right? What is he supposed to do? Like, how is he supposed to create good looks for guys who can have wide open threes or wide open mid-range shots, and there still aren't good looks? There's nothing that Ant can do in that situation. It's just crazy how he gets blamed, gets the CJ treatment, like the bench is a problem because of him, because he's not a true point guard and he can't create for those guys. It's like, bro, if those guys could shoot threes, guess what? Ant would look more like a point guard, because he'd drive, draw a defender, and kick out to somebody that can knock down a 3, and then you'd be talking about, oh, look at him create, collapse the defense, and get a teammate an open shot who knocked down a 3. Well, guess what? When teams leave Justice Winslow, do you want him kicking out to Justice Winslow for 3? I don't. I'd rather Ant try and go up 1v2, but then he's selfish. But you don't want Justice Winslow shooting threes. You don't want Trendon Watford shooting threes. Watford had an open 3 last game. He bricked it off the backboard and didn't hit rim. And he was at an angle. Like, he was free throw line extended and hit the backboard over the rim. Like, it made no sense. So, anyway, that sort of stuff gets me worked up, man. But, yeah.
And
I'm going to try to avoid it on post-game shows a little bit more.
Yeah.
That's why I'm kind of getting out of my system now before we can move on. But
And once again, I'm not saying that Wilshere was great or deserves to still be the GM. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not trying to say he was, wrongfully terminated or anything like that. Couldn't be happier that guy's gone as well. I mean, I did defend a lot of his moves. I felt like people got a little too bogged down by the way his personality was, but he shouldn't be the GM anymore anyway, so that's all behind us. But I don't see anyone talking about Cronin and the job he's done and the moves he's made. And
that's because they like him, so they won't criticize him. They'll find a way to make it about somebody they don't like as much.
And I mean, no one in the Blazers media has the guts to ask this, but the thing is, I think fans deserve to know, how much did you know about Gary Payton as we segue into him? How much did you know about how hurt he was, that he needed the surgery? Did you know he needed the surgery when you signed him? Like, what's going on with him? Like, do you regret signing him if you would have known he would have been out for this long? All this kind of stuff. But, like, people are scared to even ask him that. And it's because they want to be all buddy and friendly with him. And they won't ask him a tough question like that.
Yep. Speaking of Gary Payton, let's talk about him. And then, let's try and wrap up this stream in the next 7 to 8 minutes. So he is not debuting today, Eric. Do you have any information on that you want to share or feel comfortable sharing? Or?
Yeah, so let me just put it this way. Okay, I heard from 2 different people that he was targeting this date. And one of those people heard directly from Gary Payton himself. So that's why I was fairly confident with it. So when they announced last night that he wasn't playing, I basically got the WTF answer from both of them. Like, what the heck? Especially the one that Gary told. Yeah. So, like, I don't know. Like, now they're both frustrated with the team and Gary for, like what's going on here. So it is a case of Gary feels like he's not ready to play yet. And and that was misconstrued, a couple weeks ago by the Rip City Radio thing, that the team was unhappy. And of course, everyone's frustrated with the situation. But yeah, Gary's he doesn't feel like he's ready to play today, after targeting this date as the day that he was going to decide to just give it a go. So none of my sources knew what had happened between when they talked to him and now. But yeah, unfortunately now I don't know. I mean, this could be as simple as he just got a little nervous about playing tonight and will play Friday. It could mean that he's not going to play for a while. Like, as far as I know, they have no idea now what the case is, and it's a situation where this is what happened with the team. He's had several of these dates, so then the Portland comes out, by this date, they expect Gary Payton to play. And then that date comes and he says he's not ready to play yet. So, yeah, I don't know what the case is, but
Eric,
go ahead.
I've never considered this to be the case, but at this point I have to raise the question. You remember back to his conversation about how he, signed here for the money, which obviously he wanted to get paid, and I understand that. Like, we talked about it though. He went on a Warriors podcast and they asked him why he left for Portland, and he said for the money. Do you wonder if the fact that A, he won a championship last year, B, he got paid, if he's not like dying to get back on the court and he's just kind of like comfortable sitting out right now getting paid and just chilling?
Yeah, see, I thought about that, but I also then thought about it the other way, whereas he's not in jeopardy of losing out on the contract now if he gives it a try, right? So he's got a guaranteed contract now for 3 years for way more money than he's made in the NBA so far off minimum contracts. So it's a case where if it truly was about the money, I think someone like him, who has seemed to be a competitor his whole life, I mean, I've known of him back, obviously he's the son of a NBA legend, so people have known about him for a long time before this, but, he played at Oregon State where I went to school, and so I've been following his career for a long time. That guy's one of the more competitive people that I've ever seen go through Oregon State's program and now into the NBA, and literally was willing to be a video coordinator for the Warriors last year, so he didn't get too far away from the team and could still maybe, goof around in practice and be around the team in case they wanted to sign him. So, I just find it hard to believe that he would go from getting paid to then be like, nah, I'm good. I'm just not even going to try anymore. So
yeah. And I'm not saying this is what I think or anything. I'm just kind of raising the question.
It's a valid question. It's totally valid.
I wonder if he was on coming off this injury, but was only on a 1-year contract, making the league minimum, would he be playing right now?
Well, here's the deal. If he was on a minimum contract and he plays and he isn't the same person, wouldn't that be worse?
But he was on a minimum last year and he was playing through this injury when it wasn't fixed.
Yeah.
He was battling through it, which is commendable. I just wonder, if he was still trying to fight his way into the league, would he be saying screw it and playing through it? I'm not saying that's what I think or anything. I'm just kind of raising the question because it's interesting to think about.
There's definitely got to be some truth to that. I mean, it's hard even for the most competitive people to be like, oh, going for years from I have to be on the court no matter what my body feels like, to now, okay, well, maybe it is better to take a long-term approach with my body, and if it's not right, wait until it gets right. And I don't think that's necessarily means anything about him as a person or anything. but that is a very logical conclusion to what's possibly happening. Is just he's gotten paid. He doesn't have to grind anymore for that to even be on a team. And now he can afford to take care of his body and not put his body through a situation where he has to go through years of playing through these injuries and things like that just to make it in this league. So there could definitely be some truth to that, and that's most likely what's happening. But I'll go back to this again. If you tell me that he'll be fine later in the season and will be a good player for us, I'll take that over him trying to play right now and possibly not being available later.
Yep. I mean, I kind of understand it. That's the things that I'm starting to wonder that I didn't wonder before. And it's just like the longer this goes on, the more that becomes questionable. But it's also, I kind of understand it at the same time. If he's just being super patient with it, it's just, man, it's getting frustrating as a fan. I want to see him out there. I want to see him play. He could help this team a lot. Obviously, he needs to be healthy, but I think even him with Sordas, he could still help this team because he's such a terrific defender. Dude, like, this could be, at this point, this could be a year-long thing. Like, earlier, I was like, oh yeah, he'll be back this season, he'll be back at some point, he'll be back, December, worst case, maybe January, like, he'll be back, though. At this point, there's a chance that he does not play this season. Like, in my mind, there's a chance of that because we're almost halfway through the freaking season. Joe Ingles returned before him. The Blazers said they expected him back by. I retweeted this on September 16th. They said he's expected to make a full recovery by the start of the regular season. The start of the regular season was over 2 months ago.
2.5 months, yep.
So I don't know. Like, he could be back next game, or he could be back 2 months from now or next season. I have no idea because I said that a month ago and I said that 2 weeks ago and now I'm saying that today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully it's just the thing, like, he just, because like I said in previous streams, the plan was to have him play in this game knowing they didn't play again until Friday. You could have 4 days to see how it reacted. If it didn't feel much worse than how it's feeling without playing, then maybe you push it a little more. If it got worse and then he's not feeling good or whatever, maybe you then say, we tried it. We're going to rest him another couple weeks, see if it gets better. So, like, I don't know what happened in this other than it could be as simple as they decided if you don't play in this game, you have, like, another 4 days to rest it. I think they just keep kicking the can down the road, hoping that if they just keep giving it a week or two, maybe it'll get better. But so it could be as simple as he'll suit up Friday. But yeah, it's weird when people who actually talk to him don't even know at this point because they're frustrated with what he's been saying compared to what's happening when these dates come.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't seem to know. It seems like he's setting target dates with the organization, and then he gets close to him and doesn't feel right and decides not to play. So, anyway, preview for this game tonight: shut down LaMelo, or try and guard LaMelo. They got Gordon Hayward. This team is actually healthier than they've been for the most part of this season. So LaMelo has missed almost the entire season, but he'll be playing tonight.
Get back in transition.
Hayward. So yeah, you just gotta try not to let this team score 120 on you, and I think you can win because this team won't play defense. You should be able to generate good shots. Don't settle for tough looks. Get good shots. And play some defense, and you should be able to win this game if you're Portland. For all the Anthony Simons haters that are late, we talked about how ridiculous your Simons hate is earlier in this stream.
No, I'm sorry, but as Steve Peterson says, we as fans deserve better than Anthony Simons. Can you believe that?
You do, Steve. You're a troll, man. There ain't no way there ain't no way you're saying that for real, my guy. We deserve. I mean, the dude's averaging almost 23 points per game efficiently, 4 assists at 23 years old. What do we deserve then? Luka Doncic next to Dame? What does that even mean? Stop hating on our second best, third best player, whatever. The dude's played like a star this season. You're just a hater. Yeah, you're just a Simons hater is what you are. Anyway, we talked about that earlier. I don't want to focus too much. It's just silly.
I mean, RJ Barrett's played great the last couple weeks, but like he was having an awful season before that, right?
Yeah.
It's like people are acting like Anthony Simons has been that bad this year, right? Like
it's ridiculous.
I don't get it at all.
He's having as good of a season as CJ ever had for us, man. It's so ridiculous. Like I do not understand people at all. Like Simons is having a better season than Zach LaVine, but Zach LaVine's a big name. Anthony Simons has been our guy in Portland, so therefore, because he's been our guy in Portland, he isn't a big enough name. So we deserve a big name. We deserve a Zach LaVine.
Yeah, Randy says, chat, or I guess people in general, are starting to get way too reactionary, and that's don't be reactionary. Like, try to like balance it out. Like, no one is going to be good every game. There's going to be ebbs and flows, ups and downs, stuff. But like that doesn't mean Anthony's a bum because he went 1 for 10 last game. Like, yeah, that sucks. But he also hit 6 threes in a row against that same team earlier in the season. It didn't like against that same defense. Like,
yeah. Anyway, that stuff's been driving me crazy. Steve, I don't know if you are like purposely trying to be a Simons hater or if you're just caught up reading too much Facebook or whatever, but you need to get off Facebook because, yeah, dude, I read a couple Facebook groups lately, Eric. Oh my goodness. You thought maybe Twitter was bad or maybe Reddit was bad. Facebook takes it to a whole new level. The stuff there, it's like, I swear these people are actually watching the games. Like, the stuff that was being said there made no sense. No sense whatsoever. So, yeah, get off Facebook. Interact with the right people on Twitter. And maybe you'll be doing a little bit better and not absolutely despising the team that you're a fan of.
I will say this, too. I'll be happy if you think Tori and I are wrong and you want to show me. We can go through box scores. We can go through plays. We can watch games. I'll go back and watch a game with you, an old game, and we can dissect everything that's happening on the court, and you can explain to me why you feel that way. And if you want to try and prove to me what you're talking about is correct, I'd be more than happy to do that with you sometime. But unless you're willing to do that, like, you're just basically saying narratives that you think sound smart that you've been hearing from years from people who don't analyze the game very well, and you're just going to continue to say stuff that without any sort of substance to your argument.
Yep. So anyway,
and depending on if they show the celebration on TV after the game, we'll probably go live after that if it happens on TV.
Yep. So just stay tuned. Follow us on Twitter. Links in the description box below. You can come join our in-person watch party and show us how Anthony Simons is so trash in person on January 2nd. If you are in the Portland area, definitely consider getting tickets to that. Would love to meet some of you there if you can make it. And we'll have a live watch party for Blazers versus Pistons, and then we'll have a live post-game show. So if you want tickets to that, link in the description box below. I'll also put the link in chat. There you go. Links in chat. So anyway, post-game show later tonight. Shout out Jason Hawley, last minute dono, $2 dono. Thank you, Jason says. On God, stop the Ant and Nurk hate, please. Come on. Thank you, Jason. Yeah, would love that, but I mean, we were screaming to stop the CJ and Nurk hate for multiple years, and unfortunately now it's Ant and Nurk. So, yeah, just gotta try and make do. Thank you for the $2 dono.
Thanks, Jason. And thanks everyone for watching. Hope everyone enjoys the game. Hopefully we are not talking about a 4th straight Blazer loss after this, because this one would be bad if we lose this game at home.
Yeah, you gotta win this game. So, hopefully Ant has like 40, and I can come up here just absolutely roasting all of you Simons haters. That's one of the goals for tonight. But yeah, Blazers Hornets post-game show later tonight. We'll see if they can take care of business. Anyway, That's a wrap for this episode of Blazers Uprise Live, presented by BetOnline. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of your evening. Until next time, as always, peace out. Go Blazers!